Hey guys, back. I'm back. I got a guest with me this week. I got Jared Avery. Went to high school with him. As you can see, he's a Manchester United fan. As am
Sure.
I. Just about a few times on the show. So, yeah. This episode, we're going to talk a little about soccer. It's been one of the few sports that's been back to relative normality really lately. And the Champions League just wrapped up last week. Transfer window's back open. Premier League is kicking back off in, I believe, 3 weeks from this weekend.
hmm
So it's a fun time. It's a really quick turnaround from last season. But yeah, Jared wanted to come on. We'll talk some soccer and give some thoughts on how United can disappoint us in 2020 and 2021. So yeah, introduce yourself. Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. My name's Jared Avery, active duty military member for the U.S. Air Force. I am stationed down here at Herbert Field on the Panhandle in between Destin and Pensacola. Uh, and like you said, we go back. We played in high school, even played little league together. Definitely grew up in
Long
the
time
background.
ago.
Yeah, so got a history there. We're both big Man U fans, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll talk as much soccer as you guys want to listen to. There's been big news this week. We'll get into that a little bit later with Lionel Messi deciding he apparently wants out of Barcelona, which he's been there what seems like forever. So
Yeah.
huge news is going to shake up a lot of European soccer, and then yeah, it'll be a fun season coming up. But just kicking off, last week was the Champions League final. Bayern Munich beat PSG, was it 1-0 off
Yes,
of
sir.
Kingsley Coman's, was it a header, I believe,
hmm Yep.
late, I think 60 something, 70 something minute.
hmm
Bayern Munich looking really good. So yeah, I mean, Champions League's always fun. It's always obviously high impact games. But I mean, did you catch much of that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I watched the game. I thought PSG were going to struggle, uh, and Bayern did exactly what they do best. They enforced their dominance. They got a lot. They played a lot of balls sent into the box. Robert Lewandowski always creating havoc in there, and yeah, I think PSG had some good chances going forward, but they just were they couldn't finish at the final pass leading to
Yeah,
it. So
and I mean, I hate watching PSG just because I feel like they dive so much. And
mhm,
I mean, you're going to get that, of course, with Neymar, but I think
mhm,
Bayern Munich they're at that point where they're not going to let that happen. They have the power, the strength to dominate you, and it's also
mhm.
really cool to see a guy like Alphonso Davies start for them. I mean,
Oh yeah, what a talent!
biggest game of his life, and he's a 19-year-old from Canada. You don't see a lot of Canadian superstars, so to
Oh
see a
yeah,
guy like him,
absolutely.
I mean, he started against in the Barcelona game in the semifinal, and then he came in and started in the final and got the win. So huge news
Yeah,
for
for sure.
a North American star. But
hmm
yeah, I guess since we're both me and you guys, we'll start off. We'll talk some transfers and big news out there. But Jadon Sancho's been this big target for United since what seems like forever. I mean, it's been the talk of the entire transfer window really about him. Close to a deal, then the deal was off, and then it's back on, then it's off. It's just back and forth. Have you heard anything, even like within the last few days, of any progress of that deal, or if it's going to happen?
I mean, from what I know, and the outlets that I listen to, and read up thoroughly on, to my knowledge, I think we're pretty much just stuck on. Uh, I think Dortmund does a good job of building players up. Uh, they did the same thing with Aubameyang.
Hmm.
Arsenal ended up paying a big fee for him. Uh, and several other players. So I think they're doing what they do best, and they're trying to milk the cow, the cash cow, if you will. They're trying to get a big fee for them, and it's nothing new for Manchester United. We're dragging a trade deal out. Uh, as far as like being a fan, we just want to see it get done. We're seeing all these other teams in the Premier League within the top six. They're making big transfer moves, and here we are, stagnant as ever. We got our captain getting arrested in Greece, Harry Maguire.
Yep.
Uh, Pogba, news today, uh, tested positive for coronavirus. So quick recovery for him. Wishful thinking. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's quarantined for like 14 days. And I just found this out a few minutes ago. Marcus Rashford, he has an ankle injury while training with the England squad. So right now it's just dark times for us, and hopefully it turns around soon.
Yeah, it's always tough with going from quick league play, then trying to get international play in, and try to get some more reps with those guys, and then you're trying to turn on for another EPL season. So then, I mean, your body's never going to recover, and that's always tough. But I mean, with the Sancho stuff, it just seems like obviously it's going to be a big fee. You know, he's a young superstar. He dominated for them last year, and United. It's not like they don't have the money. They're one of the most, I mean, biggest brands in the world. Like, if it's going to cost you an extra couple million euros, you've got to make it happen. And they are just so stingy about it. And it sucks. It's always been the case. I feel like we do this every single year with some big name target. So hopefully they'll figure something out soon. I mean, I don't know. The window's open until, is it October 1st?
Yeah, it's the 1st of October. But yeah, it's definitely devastating. You know, we got the money. I don't know what the transfer fee is. I think it's $100 million plus add-ons. You know, as far as players get add-ons all the time, as far as like goal scored, assist. You know, so there's extra money in that. But yeah, I mean, you know, I believe this deal is definitely going to get done. I don't see us doing more than 2 deals this transfer window. But, I mean, yeah, the biggest thing is we need to just get him in on the squad, you know, get him practicing with the first team so we can get our depth up top. You know, it's very important that we get this deal done soon.
I mean, I really like Mason Greenwood. You know, he took a huge step end of last season, but let's not be silly. If you can get Jadon Sancho on that first line, you've got to do it. And I mean, put Greenwood in your like 70th minute substitution. That's not bad. You'll take that every day of the week. So, I mean, this is one of those things that you're hoping it gets done. I'm begging for it. I've been asking for it since I can't even remember. I mean, my Twitter's just, you look up, it's just, come on, get Sancho, get Sancho, get Sancho. So, I don't know. I hope they get something figured out. They've got, like I said, about 6 weeks or so left. So, we'll see what happens. But I know you alluded to some of the other teams in the top 6 with some big transfers. I know Chelsea's been big early on. Leicester hasn't, sorry. I mean, it's very weird, but I mean, yeah. Let's talk about Chelsea for a second. They strong last year. They've very solid play from the American Christian Pulisic last year, especially there towards the end. And then they weren't even shy. They went out. They let Willian go. He went to Arsenal, which is it's a nice move. But they replaced him. I mean, swapping him for Timo Werner. I mean,
yeah. I mean, as far as Arsenal goes, that's a great deal for Arsenal because that was a free transfer for them. You know, they got Lacazette, Aubameyang. I think that, you know, Willian's a little bit older, but, you know, I think Arsenal can get all the help they can get. So, you know, I think they're
disappointing year for them last year.
Yeah, for sure. Their back line needs help. I've been saying this for a while. I think David Luiz is washed up. But, you know, they got a new coach. He's a young guy. He knows what he wants. I think he just needs some time to get in the players that he wants. And, you know, they'll be on the good, you know, they'll be on track to do something special, hopefully. Well, not that stuff, but, you know what I'm saying. At least Champions League football for him. Yeah.
I mean, it was weird. Like last year, Arsenal they never seemed to be able to get over a hump. They couldn't win any big games. They were always just kind of middle of the pack of the table. And then you see, I mean, I'm just so used to seeing them in that top 6 or 7, and it just didn't think that was really ever the case. I mean, end of the year they tried to make a big push, and it didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, on the other hand, Chelsea, they finished 3rd place, I believe.
4th technically. We got 3rd.
That's right.
Point differential or goal differential, but they had a good finish. I was really disappointed in Wolves. I think Wolves, honestly, they had a good enough season to make the top 4, but they just, you know, bad coaching decisions with players getting in. You know, big important games, last like 5 or 6. They lost a couple tough ones.
They lost that one to Chelsea, which was bad. I think that was the second to last match day. They ended up gave up 2 goals back to back right before the half, and that cost them. But
yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
Yeah.
hitting on Chelsea. I mean, you talk about making a splash. I mean, they're getting Ziyech or Ziyech. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but he's a winger slash attacking mid from Ajax. Thiago Silva. He just finished his medical today. He's looking to finish up a deal or sign a contract this week. Timo Werner going to be a fantastic striker for them. I don't think Olivier Giroud is going to do the trick. I think he's a good player come off the bench for him. But and yeah, they signed another left back, Ben Chilwell from Leicester. I mean, to me, those are all starting players. So I mean, they're doing what we should be doing. We
Yeah.
don't. Being a big Manchester United fan, the last thing I want to see us do with all the potential signings and who we're might be getting in the near future. We're Manchester United. We're not buying bench players. We're buying starting players, So they're leading the way, getting all these transfers done. And yeah, we just got to kickstart off getting Sancho in there,
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at United, really they weren't going to be in the top four. So if you guys don't know, top four you're going to get that qualifies you for the Champions League, which is essentially like a European playoff, if you want to look at it that way. So they struggled early in the year, kind of fought their way in towards the end, snuck in, got the 3 spot right at the end of the year. They were not, I mean, they were dominant when they came back after being shut down for a few months, but it took them a while. They really weren't what we expected given their roster, and now that they got that 3 spot, they seem pretty I don't know the word here, like I guess just like they're stagnant. They're fine with being a 4 or 5 spot if they have to be. Meanwhile, the teams that they're neck and neck with, they're out there spending their money. They're improving their rosters drastically, and they're already good teams. So, I mean, you can't really afford to just sit back and let everybody else get better while you're just putting out the same 11 guys as last year. And then, I mean, I feel like I've been saying for 4 years that they need to go get a new center back.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire was a nice pickup, but they still have their inconsistency next to him, and we got to find a way to keep it.
Yeah, as far as his fee goes, I still think we paid a little. I think we paid him $80 million. To me, I just think that's a little too much, but I think we needed one bad.
Yeah.
I always liked Victor Lindelof, but we just right now that's one thing we're in desperate need of. We need a left-footed center back, somebody with some pace, somebody can play that ball up the line with Luke Shaw and Rashford. You can just watch Harry Maguire play, and you can tell he's just not comfortable playing on that left side.
Right.
But he's got to pick up the slack because Lindelof he's definitely not going to do the job over there. But yeah, we'll hopefully we can do something special this year. I think we got a good chance, especially if we get Jadon Sancho. He's obviously definitely a starter in the Premier League, and that just brings more depth to our bench. I mean, that's one thing I think that hurts us the most. We got some older players. Older players that we're spending a lot of money on to sit the bench. So hopefully we can just go from there, get Jadon Sancho, add more depth up top. And that's huge for us because, say Martial gets injured, Rashford gets injured or whatever, we got Mason Greenwood. He can play up the channel or he can play in the middle. He's comfortable wherever. He's dominant on both feet. Great young player, for sure.
For sure. Real quick, I don't know if you had thought about this, but I mean, since we're talking about left-footed center backs, are there any that come to mind that you think might be an actual target?
Oh, I was in favor of Gabriel from Lille, but I believe he signed with it was a Premier League team, but I honestly can't remember who he signed with. There's a couple guys in the French league that we're taking a look at, but it's just the cost. Our higher ups, Ed Woodward and the Glazers, they got so much say in who we bring in.
Right.
It's tough for us to get exactly. I think Ollie knows who he wants and what he wants, and I think ownership just has to do different what they did with David Moyes, Jose Mourinho, Louis Van Gaal. I mean, all those years, like, we made bad signings, wasted a lot of money, and now we have somebody at the chain, Ali, former, essentially a legend for Manchester United, had some big goals for us back in the day. He knows what Manchester United soccer is supposed to look like. So hopefully, they'll take the time and listen to what he wants and bring in the players that we need.
For sure. I just looked. It looks like Gabriel signed. Well, he passed his physical with Arsenal, so
Arsenal, okay.
that deal is going to be happening. Should be happening anytime in the next few days. So that's a big one for them. But
yeah, for sure.
It's one that I wasn't keen on the guy. I didn't really watch much of him, but then I went back and I saw him. I watched a few different cut-ups of his probably about 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, damn, this dude's good. And he's only 22, I believe, so
yeah.
he's still got a bright future. I think that would have been a good sign. He's a big dude in the back.
6'3".
He plays a beautiful ball, too. I saw one of the best things he does is pass it. So, he can really – he attacks the center, he attacks outside, and he wins the ball, and that's kind of what United needs. So it sucks that he's gone, but –
yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Well, I guess technically, news is out that Lionel Messi's going Premier League, or at least hopes to. It looks like he said he wants to go to Manchester City, which is a brutal blow. That could bring Ronaldo back to Old Trafford. But where do you think he ends up?
Well, it depends on what Barcelona decides to do with his trade clause. I don't think they're going to hold out on him. He did everything and more for them over the past decade and a half. Won them a lot of trophies. I think the least they're going to do is he wants out. So I think they're going to do their best to send him where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And it's a no-brainer. He wants to rekindle his relationship with Pep.
Yeah.
He sees a good young team in Man City. Won a few titles past few years. Well, 2. So Man City just got they got rid of Leroy Sané. Aguero's been injured. I think it would be a good fit for them. Also losing David Silva. Man City took some hits this year, but I think him to Man City is definitely looking like it's going to happen. I think they have the cap space to do it. So
I saw that they were crunching the numbers, but let's be honest. If you have a chance to get the best player in the world, you're going to do it. So it'll happen. I think relatively quickly. That makes them automatically a threat to win the Premier League, to win Champions League. It gets them a veteran leader that they. Not necessarily that they don't have, but it's something. He's one of a kind. He's not a player that comes around often, and it's exciting. It finally gets one of those elite, world-known players in England, and
absolutely.
Hopefully it brings Ronaldo back. We don't know. Obviously it's a huge shot in the dark, but
I would love to see that. Trust me, I would. Not a big fan of Ronaldo, but I would welcome him back with open arms for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the first jerseys I ever owned, was an old United Ronaldo 7. That goes back, that's a tale as old as time, but
we haven't had a number 7 as good as him since ever. Memphis Depay, he was a wash. Di Maria, awful. Alexis Sanchez, don't even get me started on Alexis Sanchez. That was an absolute nightmare. That was one good thing that we have done this past month, though. Obviously, for the people who don't know, he was on loan at Inter Milan. And for people who don't know how loans work, basically you pay the majority of that person's salary while he plays for another team. And Alexis Sanchez was the highest paid contract we've ever given to a player. We were paying him more than what De Gea is getting. It was pushing $400K a week. And that's just we were paying him that much money. He wasn't even on our team. So, that was one good thing we did. Cleared up a lot of space. And I can go – the list goes on with those players. We got Phil Jones. Phil Jones, absolute nightmare. Paying him $75K a week. Diego Dallo. For some reason, I thought maybe him and Jesse Lingard were going to be part of a trade deal with getting Sancho in here faster.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying him $25K. Juan Mata, I love him. He's a leader. I've watched him play ever since he was back in the Liga. But we're paying him $135K
To
a
sit.
week. Yeah, to sit. To come off the bench. Jesse Lingard's getting $100K. I've always been a fan of Jesse Lingard. I really have. I love kids coming through the ranks, just like Mason Greenwood, just like Rashford, guys that come through the academy up through the ranks. I favor those guys, but it's just too much. It's too much, and we got too many players that will clear up a lot of cap space for us to bring in really good starting players. And it's Manchester United. What big-time player does not want to come play for this historic club,
Right. You don't see that. I mean, it's comparable to like the Cowboys, right? Everybody knows the Cowboys worldwide. Not a player in the world is going to say, I don't want to play in Dallas. No, that's a chance. One, it's good for you. It's good for the team. You got to make it happen if the money allows, and the money is not going to be an issue. So I guess more so, I guess NFL is a salary cap. So it'd be like the Yankees. Like, you're going to spend that money. You're going to go get yourself. It's been a nightmare of really a few years. It sucks. But, I guess if you want, we can try to predict next year's Premier League top 4 or 5. I guess top 6 if you want. Go maybe get some Champions League thoughts.
So for the Premier League, depending on what Man City does, I still see Liverpool winning it. I think they're in talks with Thiago. That's Bayern Munich's center defensive mid, great player. I think if they get him, it's over. I think Wayne Rooney was on record for saying that as well earlier today. If they had a midfield player, I don't think anybody in the Premier League stopped them. Man City came in second, and they still lost by 20-something points. So I think that gap's still there to be closed. But Liverpool 1, Man City 2. I think Chelsea is definitely going to be 3rd with all their signings. I think Frank Lampard's got a good young group. Mason Mount was fantastic for them this year. Another player that came up through the ranks for Chelsea. Christian Pulisic, when he gets healthy, we already know what he can do going forward, creating so many chances for them, and can finish with the best. At 4th, I think it's going to be us. I think we have the talent to get top 4, and then top 5, 5th place. I would honestly say I think it's going to be Wolves. As long as they keep Raul Jimenez. He's a little bit older, but they got some scary firepower up top. I think they're very collective in the back. They dictate a lot of the pace, even against the big clubs. Like Liverpool, Man City, they like to possess a lot, but they're not scared of them. They'll put numbers forward. They'll get the outside backs going up, whipping in some dangerous balls. So it's my top 5: Liverpool 1, Man City 2, Chelsea 3, Man U 4, and Wolves 5.
I actually agree with your top 4, and then I have Wolves and Tottenham neck and neck for 5 and 6. Which I haven't even looked at Tottenham really lately, so I don't know if they could have made a move that completely throws that out of the water. But Wolves took a lot of strides last year. They caught me by surprise, I think, and it would be cool to see, I guess, more of like that sleeper team kind of sneak in, because you do kind of see the same 6 squads every single year, and then obviously Liverpool. I don't see a way you're going to stop them. Man City had a great year last year, and they didn't even come close. So, it'll be fun, but I think Liverpool's just got too much talent all the way through, and it's a historic run, and I think that's going to lead them. Hopefully, they can carry that into the Champions League and make a splash there. But I'll say assuming Messi does go City, I think City ends up taking Champions League next year.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Man City will slip up like they did against Lyon. That was kind of a fluke.
Sterling, man, that was brutal. Missed it.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Halfway.
Yeah, he definitely will not forget that because I think they had a good chance to at least getting to the final. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, what a break for Man City. Especially Pep Pep aims to be the best and finishing second, 20, 23 points behind Liverpool. He wanted to win something, and Champions League was definitely something they were trying to get. So yeah, very unfortunate for them. And to hit on Tottenham, like you said, being your fifth place team, uh, the only reason why I left Arsenal and Tottenham out, I think Arsenal, even though they signed Gabriel from Lille, left-sided center back, I just still think they're going to have too many problems in the back. Their midfield's not as strong as it should be, and as far as Tottenham goes, I think they're very one-dimensional. I think
Mm.
if they play one style of football, or I don't know why I said soccer, American soccer, but football for the Europeans. But yeah, no, I think it's just a personal grudge I have against Mourinho being the coach. I can't stand him, so
Yeah.
I hope they finish dead last and get relegated. But, I think one team to look for next year though is Everton. I think Everton has something going. They didn't do very well this year, but I think they have a good chance for signing James Rodriguez,
Hmm.
relatively for a low price, which I think would be great for him. He's always wanted to play in the Premier League, and with all the shtick that he got at Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, I think this would be a good chance for him to revamp his career.
Yeah, and he's
So
always just been that odd man out. He just never had a chance to really prove himself, and he's getting up there. He's what 31 now, I believe, or 30.
mhm.
So, I mean, going to a lower level team like or Everton, sorry. I mean, that's a good chance for him. I mean, he can finally show that he is capable of leading a team,
Mhm.
and he's still a really good center mid. Um,
Mhm.
He's always a fun guy to watch. Obviously, if you guys remember the that World Cup goal he scored for
Oh yeah,
Colombia, I mean, dude's fun.
fantastic. Yeah, for sure.
But do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Uh, Champions League predictions. My prediction. Honestly, I don't see anybody stopping Bayern Munich. I think they
Mm.
have the perfect chemistry of youth and leadership with older players. Uh, they got a lot of depth. They got good players coming off the bench for them. Winning Bundesliga is obviously not going to be a problem. Uh, I just see them carrying that into the. I see them running it back. I really do.
Yeah,
They're a great team, possess the ball well, can finish. Uh, yeah, no, I think that'll be my prediction
yeah.
next
I
year.
mean,
They
they,
run
they
it
are
back.
such a tough team, but they're so
Oh
fun to
yeah.
because I don't know, they're not even like all that flashy really, but they're just so dominant at what they do, and they've been that
Mm-hmm.
way since since I can remember really. So they'll be a fun team to watch. I think. Well, it'll be exciting to see how Alfonso Davies grows and develops with them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's learning from one of the best left backs in the world, in David
Oh
All.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
I guess since we're talking about Alfonso, he's a North American, and we've talked about Pulisic a little bit. Another American to keep an eye on, Weston McKennie. He just signed a big deal with, or he's expected to sign a deal with Juventus, which is, I mean, a powerhouse in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good young talent here in the U.S. and then
Yeah.
obviously in Canada. So, is there a chance that U.S. soccer is ever respectable in national play?
I think. I think our talent is definitely underestimated. I think honestly, what it comes down to is coaching. Uh, with ever since Jurgen Klopp, or not Jurgen Klopp, Jurgen Klinsmann, he kind of boofed us a few years ago. Uh, I just don't think we've been on the right track since then. Uh, I think what it actually boils down to is it's a hold on, sorry, excuse me. It's a systemic problem. I think American soccer just lacks like so much. Over in Europe, they have academies. These kids are
Yeah,
playing soccer all year round. They go to school, and they train. We're trying to develop that method, but I think we just lack that kind of edge. Although I do think the MLS is no joke. I think, a lot of older players like Zlatan, David Beckham back in the day, I think he kind of started the wave. It's no joke. I think, we're a tough league. It's definitely a different style, but we have good talent on the national team. But as far as us being relevant here soon, I would say no. We have a big problem of playing against the level of our competition. Yeah. So, we go into games thinking as fans and as players, I'm sure that, we're just going to smack them, beat them up 5-6-0. And that's never the case. It's always, we're chasing to the last goal, 0-0 or 1-1 there at the end. And, it's frustrating to watch, but, hopefully there's promise though. We got players like you said, Weston McKennie going to the Italian league, Christian Pulisic, obviously, playing for Chelsea in the Premier League, and doing great. As long as we get those guys to be the leaders that they can be, and just develop the younger players, that's another thing. Like our first team, we're always swapping players in and out. Seems like we never have like that solid core, like the Brazils, the Spains, they got the same guys on the roster every year. We don't have that, but I think when we do, it'll be promising for us.
Yeah, it's good because, we're now at a spot where the young stars that we have are playing in Europe. They're actually getting reps against good competition instead of playing, we have Stephen Morris, I believe. He's still playing MLS. Sure, you're playing decent talent, but you're not going to really get challenged like you would with Pulisic going up against the top guys in the Premier League. Tyler Adams in Germany playing for Leipzig. You need situations like that in order to really develop your craft. So that kind of sucks. And you kind of hit on it. We don't really have that academy here. Jadon Sancho, he signed with, I believe, Watford's academy when he was like 7 years old. And he grew up playing, soccer was basically work for him. So, and now, he's 20 years old and is one of the best players available in the world right now. So, in order for that to happen, I think, like you said, systematically it's got to change, but it's hard to do that because there's so many prominent sports here in the U.S. that a lot of guys just don't have that interest that they would have in soccer. Odell Beckham's one that comes to mind. He was a good young soccer player, but obviously football is going to offer him more. So, hopefully
his career at LSU definitely took off for him.
Yeah, so I don't know. It sucks because obviously you want your national team to be good, but the U.S. is always going to be, I think, just a step behind until they get the right management, right coaching in there. But yeah, the talent is at the height that we'll never probably see something like this. There's so many good young core guys that if they can find a way to manage them the right way, I think there's actually a chance they could be somewhat of a threat. But we'll see just how much it actually is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I've got. If you got anything else you can add, you can discuss it. Like.
Yeah, so a couple things. Let's talk about ownership. So for those of you who don't know, the Glazers, it's a big family. They took majority of the shareholding back in like 2003, 2005. Now they're 100%. And his name is Ed Woodward. He's the executive vice chairman. So essentially he oversees all the operations there, as far as like transfer and, basically everything. I just think it speaks volumes. Like from what we've done in the past. And it was even like that when Sir Alex was with us. We had trouble getting trades, like, bringing in midfielders that we wanted. It's like we just have the wrong people running the show. Ed Woodward, he's an accountant and an investor. We need a director of football, director of soccer in American terms. Like, we need somebody that's going to take care, that's going to recruit the players that we need. He's going to be in direct communication with the coaching staff, and just dragging out deals. Like, we're You hear talks all the time like potential signings like Van der Beek, great young center defensive mid over at Ajax, great player. I actually really do like him. That's not, 3 positions I think we need. Center defensive mid, Jadon Sancho, I wouldn't consider him I wouldn't like single out his position, but like just him specifically, like we need him, and we need a center back, left-footed preferably. So, talks of like Jack Grealish, Aston Villa, they're asking an outrageous price, like $75 million. We've always wanted him. I think he's a great player. I really do. I mean, he had an amazing season with Aston Villa, but the only reason why they're asking him that much is because he had literally the best season of his career, possibly, and he did everything he could to not get them relegated. They didn't get relegated by, I think, 1 point, and just for them staying in the Premier League, that just raised his value up. And like I said earlier, we're Manchester United. We don't want to sign players to come sit the bench for us. And ever since Ollie took the helm, I've been saying it from the beginning. It's not so much about getting players out, getting players in. It's about getting them out. I mean, I mentioned earlier, like all the players were paying so much money to have just to sit the bench. Yeah. I mean, just that frees up so much money for us to get the players that Ollie wants in. It's just tough being a fan like we are, and like us not being able to get these deals done. And like you look at our rivals like Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal making plays. It's just tough to watch all these guys and all these teams coming over to the Premier League, and they're just going to dominate. It's tough to watch, and I'm just hoping that it turns around for us. I really, really do.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at last year, middle of the season, I believe, United did make a big transfer. They got Bruno Fernandes, and look how that paid off for them.
Absolutely.
It was huge. I mean, they've got to find a way to keep their foot on the pedal and actually, get more guys. I mean, obviously, you can't get more center midfielders. I mean, I think him and Pogba are a good pair, and bringing him in probably keeps Pogba in United for at least a little bit longer. I know he's always back and forth of wanting out and wanting to stay. So if you can keep those two together in your center, I mean, obviously you're going to have chances to create. So you just got to find guys that you can actually expand off of those two guys.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. I mentioned him earlier, Van der Beek, center defensive mid, 22 years old, coming out of Ajax, great young player. You just look at Fred, you look at Scott McTominay, which I think are both great players, and obviously Matic, he's older now. I'm afraid that McTominay and Fred, they're not going to be able to produce like we want them to. Mm-hmm. Like Ollie wants that center defensive mid. That way Pogba and Bruno can go forward and create chances for us. So we need that guy that can sit in front of the center backs and dictate the play. Obviously be a good facilitator as well. But I really hope. I mean, it's probably slim, but I know we've been in talks with him for a while. But I really hope that we sign him. We can get him for like $40 million. That's kind of what I think Ajax is asking for. Definitely doable. I would preferably rather we sign him than Jack Grealish. But if we do more than one deal this transfer window, obviously, we're going to get Jadon Sancho. It's just a matter of time when we're just going to write Dortmund a check.
Yeah, it's like
they want big
fill
money.
It out.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of time. But if we do, I think we will do 2 deals this transfer window, and I have a feeling it's going to be Jack Grealish. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I named the 3 things I want. I want a defensive mid. I want a center back, and I want Jadon Sancho. Those are the only 3 things I want.
I'm in the same boat. So,
but next year I still think is promising. I think, if nobody gets injured, everyone stays healthy, especially Luke Shaw, one of my favorite players. He's battled injuries for the past several years, just absolutely destroying his knees. When he's healthy, I mean, we're just an absolutely different team. You got Brandon Williams. He's young. He's fast. But you can't have a right-footed player playing on the left side. You just can't. So, if we stay healthy, Who knows? We might even come out on top of the Premier League. It might
We
be
can only
tough,
hope.
but
Yeah, I
it
mean
might be
it'll be
tough.
it'll be
But
tough next year. It'll be fun though because I think you can honestly make a case for any of those four of Chelsea, United, City, and Liverpool. They all have the talent.
mhm.
So I mean those are going to I mean they're all going to play each other. Those are all going to be games to watch. So hopefully you got to get up ahead early and try not. I mean you can't keep trying to start the season with a couple losses and a couple draws against bad teams and try to scrap your way back up to the top. It's just not going to work like that. So
Mhm.
hopefully they can get out in front of it next year, but we'll see what happens because it's it's usually the same old, same old. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, I honestly think we have a good chance of getting second place. As much as I think Man City's a great team, uh, I still think we're a few steps behind Liverpool, but I think Man City can still slip up. They signed Nathan Aki from Bournemouth for 45 million. I really didn't think that was a great trade. They're paying a lot for a center back that just his team just got relegated.
yeah,
Well, if he was that good, he probably wouldn't have got them relegated. That'd be my point. But they obviously need help in the back. They also signed Ferran Torres. I think he's a wing. Yeah, he's a right winger, I believe, left or
Mm,
right winger from Valencia. They had to fill the void for Sane going to Bayern. So they're always going to be potent on offense, but I just still think they struggle in the back. And their goalkeeper, he had a wishy-washy season. Uh, but yeah, hitting all those points, I really do think Man U has a good chance of getting second place.
yeah,
We have to win the games that we should win, though.
yeah,
I mean, you know how the Premier League is; anything can happen. See upsets all the time, but I think Ollie has us in a good place, keeping the mentality and the morale high. I really hope that, especially after the stunt Harry Maguire pulled over in Greece, uh, I really hope he is not our captain next year. Uh, I think we all know it needs to be Bruno Fernandes. I mean,
yeah.
what
I
he
mean,
what he
without a
did for us
doubt,
coming in, yeah. I mean, it's. I think that'll do a lot for us as well. But yeah. So I think we got good things to look forward to for sure.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this team. Hopefully, I mean, up top you've got a lot of young guys. You've got a lot of speed. I think hopefully they can just, like you said, stay healthy and find. I mean, looking at the who did they lose to in the UEFA? Oh shit.
I think it was
It was a Spanish
oh,
team. I'm drawing a blank on their name.
was it Sevilla?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they
Was it
had
Sevilla?
tons of chances to score that game, and they just couldn't get over that hump.
Oh
They
my
relied
gosh,
too
yeah, they
much on.
absolutely dominated.
They just couldn't get over. They can't continue to rely on penalties. Obviously, that was a big joke from a lot of people last year. Was they can only score from the penalty spot. But yeah, they created way too many chances to come up empty, and
Mm-hmm.
they just got to find a way to convert. And if they can do that, they can. I don't. They can put up 4 goals on anybody. It's just a matter
Mm-hmm.
of finishing those opportunities. But
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, another year with. I mean, having a full time to work together to get that chemistry developed between your center mids and your guys up top. I think it'll be a. Hopefully, we'll see a big improvement next year.
Yeah, for sure. Start of the season will definitely be different from last. Obviously, we got Bruno now. Mason Greenwood playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Putting up stats like Wayne Rooney when he came in, the late great George Best. That's going way back, but I mean, yeah, just putting up historic numbers. But yeah, we got to get off to a right foot. I think our first home opener, the first game got postponed, but the second game, I want to say we play Everton. That might be the third game. Can't remember, but
I'll
either way,
check real
got to
quick.
get
So I
on
know
the
it's
right foot.
it's they don't because they don't play the week. They don't play opening weekend. I believe. I think their
They
games are
play the
pushed back.
19th. The
Yeah.
19th is their
Uh,
first game.
schedule. Oh man. Crystal Palace on the 19th.
Crystal Palace, easy dub, 3 points, point differential. We're gonna have 8 goals. No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to be optimistic, but yeah, no, we gotta go into the Christmas break good because that layoff for them, they get a couple weeks. I'm pretty sure, and they come back January strong. But yeah, if we make it to Christmas, We're second or third, depending on the point differential between us and Liverpool or Man City or even Chelsea. They might surprise us this year. Uh, yeah, I think we can definitely make a push to win.
Yeah.
Trying to see anything else I got written down here. Yeah, basically we talked about it a lot for sure. Talked about Champions League predictions next year. Um, yeah, we pretty much hit just about everything.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I will say one thing that came positive out of quarantine was I watched a shit ton of soccer compared to usual. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I at least got familiar with it a bit more. I mean, I used to watch solely just United games, and now I watch all their games and then try to watch whatever's on Saturdays. And now there's, I mean, there was games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, it was all over the place, but it's fun. I'm glad soccer's finally getting a little bit more notoriety, and hopefully United can take advantage and not suck it up next year. But
Yep.
hey, Champions League draw is in. I think that's also October 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
So
coming up.
that's definitely a day to keep an eye on. So we'll get to
Mm-hmm.
see a little bit more of who's playing who, how they can get back to, I guess, success.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the magnitude of Champions League is huge. Like people don't understand the kind of money that it brings in for a club, and that's the money that we've really needed for a long time. So,
yeah,
uh, yeah, I mean going forward, especially after next year, and that just hit. I mean, you know, us getting all that money from Champions League like that, it just makes it more relevant that why we need to sign Jadon Sancho right now. Because say we don't sign him next year, you know how many teams are going to come after him. Like his fee's not going to be any different, if not higher. And there's going to be teams that are willing to pay that fee. And here we are, not getting the player that we
yeah.
want.
And
So
if you do pay up a little bit more, and he does carry you deep into that Champions League run, you're just recouping that money plus a lot more that you're giving up for him. So it's one of those things you've got to
absolutely.
take. You've got to make that expenditure in advance and let it pay itself off, really. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they do the right thing and just get this over with before the season starts. But
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah,
got
for
time. We
sure.
got 3 weeks, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I
They
do have
have
to
that.
make a comment though.
Okay.
You're wearing a Golden Gopher sweatshirt.
Yeah.
You wanna talk a little bit about the Big Ten?
I mean, we can.
What a disaster that is.
Yeah, it has been a nightmare. Back
I
and
mean it's
just
it's getting down to the point where players' parents they're wanting to file big lawsuits. I mean they're trying to sue these college presidents and stuff. It is a mess right now. And honestly, I'm very disappointed because you're looking at teams like down south, like the SEC obviously is going to continue to play. Uh, I remember when all this first started popping off. I think Texas and Oklahoma, like they were trying to get in talks with trying to come over to the SEC and play because I'm pretty sure the Big 12 is not playing this year, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but what an absolute nightmare! I just it was bad enough with everything getting quarantined. Uh, this dates all the way back to March. March Madness. What a time to be alive! Like
Yeah.
that's my favorite time of the year. March Madness. It's absolutely fantastic. I missed college basketball. Now I get to miss college football. Like what a nightmare. Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on like what you thought. What all is gonna happen, really.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because you would. It, it's been such a long road between that first NBA game getting called off that night, and then the next morning, I believe it was, the Big Ten tournament closed. They were saying no fans, and within like a half hour, they shut the whole thing down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's obviously it sucks for the schools and the money it brings, but it sucks for the players because then it screws up eligibility and
Mm-hmm.
um, the NBA draft has to get pushed back. So then the guys who are getting ready to declare they lose that, and then
player stock for sure.
Yeah, and then they don't know if they have to go back to school, if they can go work out and prepare all that stuff, and then here we are almost 6 months later, and we still don't have an answer. Some college football teams are saying, oh, yeah, we're going to play. We'll schedule games with people close. And then meanwhile, you've got teams like Ohio State, who is arguably the deepest roster in college football. They don't have a season right now, and they want to kind of branch off for a year and basically loan themselves out to another conference. And I mean, I don't know how that would work out in terms of deal and stuff like that. So who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I think Saturday night would have been the start of the college football season.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been like 4 games, I believe. Obviously, Hawaii always has that really early game. Because I guess apparently if you're traveling to Hawaii, you've got to take another week off just to get back into things. So, yeah,
I'd do anything to watch a Hawaii game if I could even watch college football. You know,
if I could watch Hawaii versus San Jose State Saturday night, that'd be a blessing. But unfortunately,
200 points scored combined between the two. You know how they play, so
it sucks. Like, I mean, you're looking, even if they postpone the season or push back like the first 2 weeks, you're already missing a bunch of big matchups. I mean, Ohio State, Oregon would have been that second week. I believe North Dakota State was playing Oregon, and that's one of the best defenses in the country playing against Trey Lance, who's one of the top quarterback prospects. And his Missouri Valley Conference shut down, so he doesn't get a season. They're giving him like a scrimmage game against Arkansas State or some Central Arkansas or something. It's like, what the hell is an NFL team going to take away from a scrimmage against a D2 program? It's a mess. But I don't know. I have no idea what to even expect just because we've obviously never seen anything like this before. So hopefully they can get it figured out. I don't think they'll be able to find a way to bubble, obviously, college football the way that they do professional sports. So maybe they'll form like different like collegiate unions type thing and just have like regional bubbles for like Big Ten players can form an alliance and play each other in different scrimmage type things and do stuff like that. But
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, have like fantasy draft type thing. Everybody just picks their own teams. I don't know. It's interesting for sure, but hopefully they can find a way to figure it out and make it somewhat fair for everybody involved.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely unfortunate. I think the thing that fires me up the most is, I mean, where is the disconnect between, high school football being played in most states and college football is not being played? I think that speaks volumes. And, if I was a parent and my son or daughter or whatever was playing like a college sport, I mean, I would be outraged. I just think there's a huge disconnect there. Like, you can't let high school students play. Now, I figured it would be like a no-brainer. Like, we're going to play college football. We're not going to lose this money, Yeah. And, it's really shocking to me, to be honest.
Especially considering a lot of the players had said, like, hey, I feel safer with my team because there are protocols in place. But if I can't be on campus or be with the team, well, then who's to say? Obviously, they have to be responsible for themselves, but who's to say, like, something can't happen back home or in a dorm where they're kind of isolated to a different group of people, and that puts them in jeopardy. So, I don't know. I mean, I get why players are upset saying, like, hey, I want to be with my team. The coaches are going to take care of me. They're going to look after me, make sure I'm doing the right thing. It keeps me in check. It keeps my teammates in check. That way we can have a season. So maybe the NCAA will listen, but, I mean, the clock's ticking for sure. They've got to get that sorted out.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. But anywho, that's I just wanted to get I see you're wearing a Golden Gopher Big Ten sweatshirt, so I just wanted to rack your brain on that one. But anyway, good stuff. We hit on a lot of good topics today. Man, big things to come. Obviously, Ollie's battling a lot of challenges going forward, but I think, he's got a good idea of the players he wants coming in.
Right.
So, good things to come. Obviously, Rashford, he's injured right now. I want him to be healthy for the first game. Like, another reason, like, we need Jadon Sancho for a situation like this. Rashford gets injured. We got somebody like him. Obviously he'll probably start, but Mason Greenwood, coming off the bench to fill the shoes. So,
Yeah.
anyway, good stuff. Man U, Big Ten, Champions League, hit a lot of good stuff today. So, appreciate you having me on, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on. It's nice
Yeah,
to have
absolutely.
somebody to talk soccer with.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this, and it's a little bit different from what we usually do, but hopefully everybody gets more into soccer. Obviously, we gotta gotta grow the brain a little bit, but
yes, sir.
yeah, it's fun. Hopefully things are going well with you, and I mean down in Florida. I know that hurricane's getting close. Hopefully everybody's staying safe down there.
Yep.
And but yeah, hopefully you can come back on again sometime, and maybe we can recap a Premier League winning season. So,
Oh yes, 100%.
but yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Yeah,
your
for sure.
time, and yeah, we'll chat again soon, hopefully, and go red.
Yes, sir. Red Devils up.